The minimum payment was actually $45. And let me tell you, I made a payment of $50 at the time the statement was released, and we were paying interest of $31.16. So even though I made what I thought was a big payment, interest still ate up most of that payment. And I was like scrapping, just trying to get out of this debt. Hi, welcome back to Mind Your Money. My name is Tasha, and if you're here for the first time, my husband and I are documenting our journey to debt freedom, financial independence while we build generational wealth, and we're starting with managing money, budgeting, saving, and getting out of debt. So if any of that interests you, please go ahead and click that red subscribe button along with the notification bell so you'll know when to come back around. In today's video, I am going to be giving you guys a look back into how I used to budget in the very beginning of our journey, which was around September of 2019. I'm also going to walk through some of the most horrendous things that I have done with our money in the very beginning. So if you are interested, then stay with me, stay tuned. Okay, so what you're getting a peek at right now is our bank account statement from October 24th, 2019 to November 23rd, 2019. So the very first thing I did was pull our bank statements, and taking a look at our bank statements, I noticed that we were getting a lot of money coming in, but it seemed like more money was going out than was coming in, and we were paying a lot in overdraft fees. So in 2019, this is even before the end of the year. This is the one I found from the fall, between October and November. We paid $840 in overdraft fees.
What?
And we had $35 in return NSF fees. This is poor management at its finest. And when I saw this, I told my husband, we will never pay for another NSF or an overdraft fee ever again, because we're going to manage our money better. So that's what I vowed to do. And what I started doing was writing down all of the items, the categories that where we needed to spend money. So all of our bills, and then all of those things that were like extra, that were additional to our bills that we need to live on. So rent, of course, is $1,200. Insurance was $194. That's when we had the car, and it was still liability only. Daycare was $1,600 per month. Our National Grid bill was $45. That's our heat. PSEG is our electricity bill, Amazon Prime was $14 per month. This is what I put. I actually rounded down then. This was before I started realizing that it's better to round up on your bills than to round down. Easy Pass was $55, and this kept changing depending on how many times per week I would cross the bridge to either go to work or go shopping or something else where I would have to go outside of the city where we live in. Credit card, I was budgeting $50 per month. I was trying to pay down the credit card, and I'll show you what that balance was back in 2019 in a moment. The cell phone, $101. iTunes, I was paying this then, it was $299. And then we had life insurance. I was trying to figure out how much money can go to the emergency savings, which was $45. Remember, if you've been here, if you're an oldie but goodie, and you've been here from the beginning of the channel journey and our financial journey, you know that we were putting $5 automatically every week into our emergency savings, and at the end of the month, $25 would be transferred. And that was something that the banker who opened my account for me set up as a way to just, get another account open. So $25 was set up automatically, but we were putting $5 every week. So that's why that says $45. Then the vehicle fund, the Christmas fund, and clothing fund. This is when I learned about sinking funds, and these are the first 3 sinking funds that I started because I thought these were most important and we should have these, right? In this month of October, between October and November of 2019, we had service charges. That's another one. Service charges are, and I'm going to shred this after I finish this video, but I'm just highlighting to show you how the bank takes money from you if you don't pay attention. This particular account requires you to carry a daily minimum balance of $100 or they will charge you a service fee at the end of your statement, $15. Of course, they didn't put that in this box here that says how many overdraft fees we paid or NSF fees we paid. But this is what the bank takes from us when you don't have at least the minimum balance in there. And we ended with $238.42, which means by the time this statement was issued, we had $238 left in there. But we don't earn interest, and we're paying the bank more than what we're actually making if you think about it, because when we add up all of our bills and we add up all of the, our savings goals, we're actually paying the bank more than what we bring in. So that was a problem for me, and I wanted to change. So that's the first thing I wanted to share with you. When we started, this is how I was doing it. Get my bank statement, write out all of our bills, total it up, and then we figure out what's going on. Are we paying NSF? Were we overdraft at any time? Are we paying any other additional service charges? And how can we avoid it? Because it was eating up money that we really needed to have. Okay, the next thing that we did was I started highlighting all of the bills that we had. Our rent, anytime I made payments to the Capital One credit card company, if I made payments towards my student loan, I would highlight that so I can make sure we're keeping track of all of our expenses. So I didn't have Excel at the time. I wasn't using any planner because I didn't start with using a planner. I started using our bank statements and balancing and checking from there. I did have plain sheets of paper in a notebook that I used. I can't find that notebook now. That would have been so cool to show you guys, but I don't know where it is. If I find it after this video, I'll probably do a part 2. But my main goal for 2020 was to maintain a checking cushion of $150. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I just knew this was the goal, and I've written it down. If I hadn't written it down, I probably wouldn't have devised a plan of attack, if that makes sense. So, for example, this check here that I had back in 2019, was $466.93. I would just take off the $693 and use $460 as a way to build up the cushion a little faster. And that's how I started building up the cushion, and I found it to be so much easier than what I was trying to do, which was just keep $100 in there per paycheck, and didn't have enough to pay for daycare. Childcare for 2 children was $1,600 where we live, plus pay for diapers, pay for wipes, pay for food, storing milk because my youngest child was only taking breast milk, and I had to pump the milk while I was on my lunch break at work and different breaks I had throughout the day. I had to buy the storage bags. I had to freeze them. I had to clean the pump. I needed to get replacement parts and all of that. Josiah, give me my calculator. Josiah. Okay, so I thought this would be a nice video for you guys to see that there has been some progression. Where you start is where you start. You don't need to have the fancy planners. You don't need to have all of the fancy stickers in the beginning. But if you have a will and a desire to be a better manager of your money, you can start right here. Pull your bank statements. If you don't have a computer or a printer at home, all you have is a cell phone, go to your local branch and ask them to print out your statement of accounts. Hopefully they'll do that for you for free. If you have a job, ask your boss if you can print them at work and get it down, get it in your hand so that you can sit down and go through your statements. I went through 3 months of our statements because I know that 1 month doesn't tell the whole story. You need to look back 3 months and see what were my spending habits like. What income did we have coming in? And sometimes with overtime, or with if you have a side hustle or a part-time job, or if you start a little business, or if you're selling things, your money income can fluctuate. So 3 months is a good starting point, I would think, because that's what I did and it worked for me before I had a planner and all the stickers. I do believe that having a planner and stickers is a way to encourage people to stay focused and stay motivated and keep a good sharp eye on their money. But if you have to start here and let your drive be what motivates you in the very beginning until you get a better handle of your money. That's just a tip for you guys. And just so you guys know, when I started with Capital One 360, there used to be ING Direct. And with ING Direct, I had about almost a 3% interest rate on the account. Of course, that changed in the 2008 recession. And I started the account as a way to save up for a move that I wanted to do. And I saved a lot of money. But in the interim, I needed to get on a budget and fix my situation. I didn't start fixing that situation until 2019. So can you imagine, almost, a little over 10 years, and I finally started getting it together. So I wrote some goals down for this account. No more savings dipping. That means I didn't want to dip into the savings that I had built up for foolish things. Use food budget to buy all food. Make only deposits into these accounts and do not withdraw until December of 2020. That was my big goal. These were actually, I'm a notary public, so any money that I would earn from notarizing documents, I would put into a separate savings account. Same thing with the vehicle. That was, remember, just for maintenance and stuff like that. Christmas, of course, self-explanatory, and I didn't want to withdraw anything until December of last year. I didn't succeed in doing that, but I did successfully create more sinking funds that helped our family a lot. And we haven't been dipping into our savings as much as in previous years. Like sometimes we would only be able to save $100, and before we knew it, it was down to nothing, like almost zero. So we've been doing a lot better. So what I like about Capital One 360 is that with all of the accounts, you can give them names. So in the beginning of my journey, I had checking accounts. You want what?
Eggs.
You want eggs? So that's how I set up these accounts, and I would go in and look at where we were tithing, where we were giving, where we were spending money, and how much interest we would earn. One bank accounts. This is the statement from my Platinum MasterCard that I had at the time. This was before I got upgraded to a Quicksilver card. The balance that we had on the card was $1,457.38, and we were nearing the end of 2019. So I'll show you. This was the bank statement from October. This is when I really started getting serious about our journey. So in February of 2020, we paid this balance off, which wasn't this. It was higher than this, but I don't know where that bank statement is. I mean, I can have access to it online, but the printed version, this is the most recent one that I have from that time period. The minimum payment was actually $45. And let me tell you, I made a payment of $50 at the time the statement was released, and we were paying interest of $31.16. So even though I made what I thought was a big payment, interest still ate up most of that payment. And I was like scrapping, just trying to get out of this debt. And I'm so glad that because we printed out our statements, we printed out all of our bank statements as well. We look at what we have coming in and what needs to go out, and we were able to adjust. And because I knew I was going to get a bonus in 2020, instead of splurging with that money like I normally would have, we just said, let's get rid of this debt. And this is when we started to take control over our credit card usage and made sure that we only use what we know we had built into our budget. And that's when the card got upgraded and I started getting cashback rewards, which changed the game for us completely. We were charged interest of $347.06, and we were charged fees of $152. And I promised that we would never ever do that again, ever. I just like looking back at these because I feel like it's a way to encourage yourself while you're on your journey, because sometimes we get burnt out with looking at our current budget. We start to feel like, burnt out, or you feel like you're not really making any progress. But when I look back at my old bank statements, when I look at my beginning budgets, I start to feel encouraged, because I'm like, look at where we were and look how we progressed. This is a sheet of paper I pulled from the printer, and I started with our beginning balance in our checking account. And this was October of 2019, you guys. I looked at what needed to come out. This was probably my cell phone bill. It looks like that. How much came in. And then I just wrote it down here, all of the expenses, and I broke up the paycheck, and I wanted to calculate how much we would have left after these bills were taken care of and after we got these checks. And that's what I decided to do. And I wasn't using our full paychecks. I started learning early in October of 2019 how to budget for the less income and round up a little on your expenses, so we can make sure we can keep some money in our account, that we have more to save and pay down debt. So this is just an example of what I started with: a plain sheet of paper and a black ink pen. Probably a ballpoint that I got from free from the bank, because if you have TD Bank, you know that they give out free pens, and we used to take advantage of that for real. Like, I'm taking a pen. I was writing down all of the paydays that we were going to have in the month of November of 2019, how much the tithe would be, and how much we would have left over. This was my monthly budget on a small portion of this sheet of paper that I pulled from the copier or the printer. That's how I was doing the budget. Real plain and simple. I didn't have a fancy planner. Once again, I wasn't using Excel. I needed to write it down, think it out, and plan what we were going to do with our money. The next thing I have is this book here. This book is where I would write down all of our budgets for paychecks. It's just a simple notebook. I'm not going to show you the front because it has been used quite frequently for the last 3 years. But I first started at wanting to create my own cleaning products because I realized we were spending a lot of money on buying certain products from the store that weren't necessary. So I went to YouTube, I found some gurus on there, watched a lot of cleaning videos, watched a lot of frugal cleaning videos and all that kind of stuff, and I came up with my own solution. And this is how I keep my house clean. According, we still use bleach, we still use Lysol, but for like general cleaning areas, this is the concoction that I have. I bought some glass bottles from Amazon. I even bought some plastic reusable spray bottles from the dollar store, and I make my own cleaning products, which saved me a lot of money. And then I had revised our budget over and over again. I would list out all of our paydays. This again was my monthly budget on a sheet of paper. And then I would write down all of the expenses and the bills, and I would figure out how much we would have left. When I did this, I would normally get a surplus around this amount, or at least this is what I had in December of 2019. So I could figure out how much more we could save, how much more we could put towards debt, and how much we could use to have fun and spend money. And this is what I was doing. And I wasn't using all of the money. I was only using a portion that was coming in so that we could live beneath our means. And remember, we wanted to build a cushion. So this is how I was doing it, you guys. Then there was this. This was the first paycheck that we received in December. No, this is like middle of the month. I would write down our goals, what we needed to do that week. We needed to tithe, which I already allocated because I didn't include it in our take-home pay. Sinking funds, car gas, and our general savings. And then I was saving up for a Bluetooth speaker, you guys. So I was putting $25 aside every week so I could buy it. And it ended up costing me less than $200. And I just purchased it with the cash that I saved up. That was the very first time I used a sinking fund for the, in the definition that it is. A sinking fund, saving up for a purchase. It was the very first time I'd ever done that in my life. And I was so proud of myself. Then there was this. This is my carry surplus from December into January. So going into 2020, this is what I was doing. I was writing down what we needed to do in this book. Again, just tracking our spending, tracking our bills. And I would have to pay daycare from the daycare expense account by weekly, because it was hard paying daycare when my youngest son was an infant, because there was a lot that went into it. So I was paying them weekly, and I would save up as much money as I can and then just send the money whenever I could. And I have to write down everything. Oh my goodness, this is making me emotional. December of 2019, this was another paycheck. and I was breaking it down this way. And then I guess I had a gift card. I don't even remember what happened. And then I was trying to break up how I would use the gift card. And then I started thinking I wanted an Erin Condren because I saw a lot of people on YouTube, a lot of budgeters and planners who had an Erin Condren, and they talked about it so much, and I thought I really want one. But it ended up that I didn't need to have an Erin Condren, but it works better when you start getting better at your budget, when you start making big financial goals. You are going to need something more comprehensive, but in the very beginning, this is what helped me. This is what helped get us out of that rut where we were paying almost $1,000 a year, a year in bank fees. This is what helped us build a cushion in our account. This is what helped us pay off that credit card bills and start using it in a way that benefits us instead of hindering us. I think I have something else on this page. Nope, that's it. I had a balance check that I used to do. And my son drew in my book. I don't know what that was. A balance check for our paychecks. I would go through all of our accounts to see how much was in there and give myself a little tap on the back like, yeah, you did good. You saved this much money in a month, and that was not normal for us. But as I saw this progression, I would share it with my husband and say, this is what we did, babe. This is what we did this month. And this little notebook served as inspiration. When I looked at it, I said, this makes me feel good, because I remember looking at bank statements where there was next to nothing in our savings accounts. We didn't have these different clothing and vehicle maintenance and all that stuff. We didn't have these. I wasn't really tracking my notary income because I was just spending it, going to buy coffee at Starbucks or going to buy a sandwich at the deli, and wasn't paying attention. And when I started to save the money, I could see that we are progressing. And now when we started saving for childcare so we could pay it in full every week, that was a game changer too. So we didn't have to pay late fees, and we didn't have to worry about them looking at us funny. You know, we got a lot of grace at the childcare provider, with the childcare provider. But when people want their money and they need their money, you have to pay them, especially when they're taking care of your children during the day. So that helped a lot. This was how I did it, you guys. This is what it looked like. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope it wasn't too, Anyway, guys, I really appreciate you for rocking with me as long as you did. I hope that you guys are continuing to mind your money, manage it well, and live your lives to its fullest, and have a wonderful, fantastic day, week, wherever you are. Remain consistent and live your lives to the fullest. Bye for now.